I'm Sam Short from Short Marine, and I'm just here now with Christian Carraway. He's the Chief Product Designer at Grady-White Boats and responsible for the most recent update and upgrade to the Grady-White, what was the 376 Canyon, but now newly named the 386 Canyon. So
let's start with the hull. You know, everybody knows Grady's have the best ride, the driest, softest, most comfortable ride in the industry. Same hull as the 376, right? So we've got that beautiful shear line, all the flare up in the bow. It's going to have all the same characteristics of that performance and that handling that you had in the 376. Already world renowned. But inside of that hull, everything else is different. Everything's new. It's been upgraded and modernized. And one great example you can see from here is the windshield. So you can see the windshield is now all fully integrated into the frame. The side glass is longer. All the supports for the hardtop are tucked inside the windshield behind the frit lines. So it's been streamlined, it's been restyled, and it's been updated into what you see here today.
perfect. He's so good, isn't he? So there's clearly a lot of changes around this aft cockpit area as well. Why don't you take us through some of them?
Yeah, so the 376 was a fantastic fishing boat, an absolute beast of a battle wagon. We did not want to do anything to compromise the fishability, and actually we took it upon ourselves to try to enhance it even further. So you'll notice one of the biggest changes back here is the dual side doors. So now either side you're working the fish to, don't worry about it. You've got a door there to open it up, gaff the tuna or whatever you're fishing for, pull it inside. In addition, we've moved the live wells out of the lean bar and into the corners. So we've got dual 35-gallon live wells in either corner, tackle trays just forward on both sides, and we've retained our massive 291-quart refrigerated fish box in the center.
Yeah, it's the same hull, but it just feels so much different, especially around this aft area here. How did you do that?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of tricks up our sleeve. We've done a better job of utilizing the interior space by doing a couple of changes. The separate side door, the second side door, is one of those advancements. It makes the cockpit feel even wider. And then, of course, when you get just forward of the cockpit, you'll see that the gunnels actually jut outboard, giving us even more interior space to accommodate the 4 helm chairs, a wider windshield, and a larger console down below. So here at the lean bar, you can see, because we were able to get those live wells out and into the back corners of the cockpit, we've got much more space here for more entertaining and cruising-oriented features. We've got a dedicated freshwater sink, an optional grill that allows you to maintain your sink even with the grill, and then we've integrated a trash can off to this side. And then there's drawers all the way around. Big drawers off the aft side, drawers off the port side. We have lure holders on the starboard side, and then drawers on the front as well. So just tons of storage. We've maintained the 6 rod holders and the knife and plier holder across the front end of the lean bar, and then we've added an additional rod holder across the aft end of the hardtop.
But with this grill being optional, for the people that do still want to fish the boat hard, if they want to use this for a bait board or more of a prep station, they still can.
Absolutely, yeah. It's got a little, I stopped calling it a bait well because everybody thinks I mean live well, but it's certainly a bait prep station. Would be here. I think it's about 5 or 6 inches deep. So a great place to put in some ballyhoo and let them kind of soak and thaw out. And then of course you've got the freshwater sink right here. So as far as a fishability standpoint, you've still got it all. It's just been elevated, I think, with the Corian and the ability to add the grill option if you did want something more entertaining oriented.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot more luxurious feel about it. That's for sure. Christian, we're up here at the helm. Why don't you talk us about this? I mean, straight away at first glance, I just get 456 Canyon vibes about the dash, but yeah, why don't you take us through this whole area?
You'll see a lot of elements throughout this boat that did come down from our 456 Canyon flagship, and certainly the helm is one of the best examples of that. You can see it's now been blacked out. It's got push button switches, stainless steel push button switches. It has an electronics flat as opposed to the raisable radio box that we had on the older 376 design. And that accommodates larger screens. We've got dual 17-inch Garmins in here. So you've got larger screens, they're elevated a little higher, so they're closer into your line of sight when you're looking out the front. The push buttons are lower, so they're easier to reach from the helm station. And then, as I said before, now we've got that 4th helm chair. So you've got quad helm seating, all of it's tucked nicely behind the console and the windshield, so you're protected. And as you said, 456 vibes all the way around, right?
Yeah. And it's, you were mentioning as well the other day about that there isn't another boat in this class that does have the 4 helm chairs.
There's not. If you look at really any competitive brand's model in that 35 to 40 foot range, They're on average about 1.5 feet narrower in beam. And so that just doesn't give them the ability to do quad helm chairs. So this is really a feature that accentuates just how beamy we are and how much interior space we have compared to those other brands.
Another really notable difference as well in comparison to the 376 Canyon is this entrance door as well down to the cabins from the side. So, and then obviously taking a peek down there, that's just a whole nother level up. But yeah, why don't you talk us about the changes through the cabin?
Yeah, so reorienting the entry to a rear entry as opposed to a side entry, that enabled us to have the sliding console door, a lot more headroom, and more subtle entry of stairs. So going in and out is so much easier. And what I really love about the rear entry is you can have your canvas wings up or your canvas enclosure and go in and out of the console without having to get around that canvas. Another really nice feature is if you have the canvas enclosure up and you're running the helm air, you can keep this door open and the cabin air will come through that and work in conjunction with the vents at the helm. So all that's really, really nice benefits of going to the rear entry down to the console. Once you get into the console, it's going to look completely different. It is wider, as we talked about. We've narrowed up the gunnels, so we've utilized the space inside the hull a little bit better. So we got more interior space by virtue of it being wider, and it's also a little longer because of the new radio box electronics configuration at the helm. So we've added some length and some width. And with that extra space, we were able to add a fully enclosed head compartment. It does have shower hardware, so if you wanted to overnight, you could utilize it as a wet head. And then forward, where we have the berth, it now converts to a dinette. So you've got the table that you can put up, and there's actually room for a couple people to go down there, get out of the sun, get in the air conditioning, have lunch, have a snack, or whatever. What really makes this interior super high-end is we've pulled all the elements and the materials out of the 456 down into this boat. So the teak flooring, the Wingate cabinets, the solid teak accent pieces, including the table, the high-end vinyl material that's used for the berth. All of those are elements and features that have been pulled down out of our flagship into this new 386 model.
I've had a customer who had mentioned that, they've taken some width and some beefiness out of the gunnels. It's not traditional Grady-White, but there is still, it still definitely has that look and feel.
And that's because, as it goes forward, you'll see that it does widen, and that's because underneath is the flare of the hull. And you know, I started by saying we're still in that great running hull. So all that flare is still down under the gunnel, and again, that's why you see it getting wider as you go forward. But once it gets aft of, say, midship, the hull is more vertical there, because you're not hitting the waves at midship aft, and that's where we had the opportunity to narrow it up. We've left just enough room for our rod holders, our beefy stainless grab rails, and a nice thick padded bolster. And then of course plenty of room to walk through. So we've still got all the features and all the elements that you wanted. They're just compressed a little bit to give us more interior space for a larger console, wider windshield, more seating at the helm.
Yes. All upside but no downside.
The other thing that is neat to note here, you can see we've still got our rod storage, 2 rods per side, all indirect LED light, and that carries over into the cockpit. You can see that's coming out from the sides of the lean bar back there as well. So that's really neat when you've got it all lit up at night, kind of a showpiece. And of course, storage. Can never have enough storage. So we've even got additional drawer storage now on the front of the console. So whatever you've got, it's got a place to go.
I mean, this whole bow area is just, you know, completely wow. Starting with this new luxury, you know, seat daybed. Why don't you talk us through this, all the changes through up here?
Totally transformed in the bow area. And, you know, we had the bench seat on the 376. It was a nice spot to sit. It was nothing like what we have with this lounge here. And I'll tell you, we've seen that the ladies have a lot of buying power these days. Guys want to keep the ladies happy. The 2 things they want to know is, where's my seat? And what's the head compartment look like? Well, we have the really well-appointed enclosed head down below now, and this, I think, is the seat. All right? So you see we've got our lumbar roll in our backrest, fold-down armrest, our contoured seat bottom, all with that beautiful diamond stitching. And this is as comfortable as any seat I've ever sat in on a boat anywhere. We wanted to make sure of that.
Hey, honey. I think one of the key elements is the this contour and the fact that it actually dips down in your bum. I think, especially if you're offshore running the boat and running the boat fast, like you've got to feel in and secure, and I think the way that the Contour does it, as well as with the armrest, that you could actually sit up here. I don't know whether you'd promote this or not, but
no,
you could sit up here at 35 knots.
For sure. I've been up here 35 knots plus, and it is very comfortable. It embraces you, it holds you, so you not only feel secure, but you actually are secured in the seat just by the geometry of the cushions. The other thing that's awesome, you have the grab rail right on the side, so if it is a little bumpy, you've got something to hold on to there. And you've got the cup holder and a nice place to either put down your cell phone or anything else that you just want to sit down for a second while you're underway.
Yeah, and it's just all the details, even that, just the little lip there would make it, if you put your phone in there or sunglasses, just stops them from falling out. So it's that attention to detail. But aside from feeling safe and comfortable at speed, in the way that it's all set, it's even the way the angle of the backrest, but it's also something that if you're at anchor, I mean, we could sit here for hours, couldn't we?
Yeah. All we need here is a little sunshine and maybe something to drink. We'd have a good time, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Going forward, we've also added these electrically actuated backrests on the port and starboard side. So now you can actually have 4 people forward facing, all lounging. And the beauty of this design is now you can dial in that angle to exactly what you want. So maybe if you're out riding, you want to sit up a little bit straighter, you just run it up. But if you get to that spot, you're anchored up at the sandbar or even just hanging out at the dock, then you can recline it as much as you want all the way down to laying flat. We do still have insulated boxes, port and starboard, for drinks and whatnot up here. And then we have the optional electric table that comes up. So you can also convert this to an exterior dinette table. And the beauty is all of this can be under a sunshade or easy up bow shade. Yeah, and that is another one of the newer design elements, is to move those speakers to the front. That's where you get the best sound quality, especially if you're out here riding underway. And just getting it visually to look like it all flows. Certainly more elements that come out of our 456 and some of our newer models, and now we've utilized them here on the new 386.
We've really just made a great boat, which the 376 was exceptional.
We've updated it, yeah, we've enhanced it, and I just feel like the fishability is as good, maybe a little bit better than the 376, which was already fantastic. But we've added all these, this new styling, added additional features, and the creature comforts, the luxury, such as the lounge and the interior with all those high-end materials. We've taken something that was fantastic and made it exceptional.
Yeah, fucking boom.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Let's go.